welcome to my the second series, guys, of Beast Quest. Today is our first book, and it's Zepha, the monster squid. Just finished it today, this morning actually. Now, series 2 starts off with, right after the first plot, with, sorry, yep, with Tom assuming that Malva is still out there. And eventually we discover at the party, the wizard Adaro was going to give him this gift for the Beast Quest from the first series, which is this golden armor, and if you wear it, you get heightened strength and all that. So it's another great powerful thing. So they go there, but when they get to the room where the chamber is, all that's there is the stand for the armor. Turns out Malavel's servants, his winged bats, have took it. Think they're magic. So they've taken the armor and separated it into 6 individual pieces, because that's what the armor's composed of, right? And they've separated it all over Avantia. Since he couldn't I'm guessing he couldn't use it himself because he's not worthy enough. Wizard Adara thinks he'll be worthy. So Tom's quest now is to find these 6 pieces of armor and stop and recover them. Eventually, though, he finds that Malvel has said that he has evil beasts guarding the armor pieces. So, and it says, "Watch out for my first monster called Zepha." And since he only says is the name, he don't know what the creature is. When they go to the where Sepron's place is, turns out there's more boat destruction. They think it's Sepron again, but no, it turns out to be Zepha. Now I want to get into some stuff here. First off, there's a nice touch with. Before I finish the story, a nice touch with those bats, because the bats make a form face that reminds me of Wizard of Oz in a way, when they make a giant face, because you've got this dark wizard who's in a giant face thing, so that's a nice reference. And Tom gets back the determination thing from the Epos book. He has that anger that he hates with Malvel. Anyway, they come to a fisherman, and Tom uses his smarts to outsmart the bidding. He claims that if I jump, I bet I can jump into a whirlpool, because this Zepha is creating whirlpools and destroying boats that way. So they go there, and he jumps in, of course, big surprise, and Zepha turns out to be a giant monster squid, of course. So he faces him, and he resurfaces. He couldn't fight him by himself because he gave his weapons to Eleanor because he liked his friends too much. He didn't want them to get rid of him, so he wanted to protect them. So you go back to Eleanor, and the fisherman says, "I'm not taking you again, so screw it. I'm not going to risk myself and my ship on the whirlpool." So, like in Sepron, they steal another boat. Same thing. This book has a lot of references to the Sepron book. Speaking of Sepron, we'll get that later. It turns out that Wizard Adro says that you can summon Sepron, so they go there with Elena and company to call Sepron, and Sepron helps out with Eleanor's Sepron team up while Tom faces Zepha. So while Tom goes for the helmet, Zepha gets the tar beaten out of him by Sepron. Yeah. Eventually, he uses an ink attack to scare him off, but then Sepron comes back, and my God, does he finish him off! He squeezes him with his own body. I'm talking about Sepron here. He calls his entire body like a snake, and then it causes Zepha to explode by squeezing him to death, and he turns into a bunch of little squids, and I think he like fades, all those little squids fade away. So yeah, and that's how Zepha gets killed. So we actually get to see some beast killage in this book, which is going to be great. After that, they get the helmet and they think it's all good, but then when the vision shows up, you think it's going to be the wise wizard Adara giving another message, but no, it turns out Malvel has him captured. So props on Malvel, he's really outthinking this plan. So he says that you'll fail my next challenge, and I'm guessing in case he does fail, he has a backup plan with Wizard Adaro as a hostage. So yeah, Tom's got to get all the pieces of armor and beat his next opponent, Claw, the giant monkey, I believe he's called. So look forward to that in the next book. But for Zepha, the monster squid, I'm going to say it's a good start for Series 2. When I say, I'm not going to compare it to the first series of books, but if I had to compare it to one, it had to be Sepron versus the Sea Serpent, because all those catching of events, and maybe Eopos the Flame Bird for the Malvel stuff. But still, it's a good welcome introduction to Series 2, and I liked it. It was a better one than the introduction to Series 1, mind you, but still, I liked it. I liked the introduction to Series 2. Thank you, Zepha, and I'll see you next time with Claw. Alright guys, welcome back to Series 2. Just finished Claw, the giant monkey. There's a lot of things I want to say about this. Where shall I start from? Probably the best. Claw starts off with Tom and Eleanor just beating Zepha, and they head to the place called the Dark Jungle. All I know about Claw so far is his name, which is probably the gimmick of this series of Malvel introducing the next beast on the quest. So Claw... Yeah, sorry. They go, before they meet Claw, they go on their quest, and eventually they come across a river where Storm is afraid of the water. That's a nice thing I like to bring up here. They bring up some new locations in Avantia, like the Dark Jungle, so that's nice. And Storm, again, is in a water problem. He's crossing a bridge, he's too scared, and eventually he falls in. I don't know why, but this is like the second or third time now that Storm's fallen in the water and he's a scared pansy. It happened once in the first series with Sepron, again a second time I think with Zepha, and probably this is like the third time now. Jeez. So, eventually they rescue Storm and he gets recovered. They come across the Dark Jungle, and of course the jungle itself is also a threat, because it has snakes and plant life that attacks you. And what else? Check my notes here. Tom gives up his weapons to... Yeah, he does do that. Tom gives up his weapons to save his horse who's in the water. Well, yeah. That was back in the river scene. Yeah, there's that. In the, when they're in the jungle, there's the mud there is a bit like quicksand, and it sinks you in, so it's kind of like the Never-Ending Story reference right there. What else? Need to put that down. Alright. Moving on, they continue their quest to eventually they come across some trees and scratches, and that turns out to be Claw. Claw is revealed as the giant monkey monster, and he captures Eleanor. I need to say my name right. Now, first, he's wearing the chainmail. According to the book, he's wearing it around his neck, but according to the artwork, he's wearing it around. It's able to fit around his entire body. Now, in all honesty, the golden armor, how it works is that you have to be a certain worthy to wear it. So I'm not sure how an evil beast is meant to wear it, as Malvel says these are pure evil beasts. But I guess they had to find some way of letting Claw have it, so there you go. Unless it might tie into the end of things, which might pull it all together. Anyway, so Eleanor gets captured by Claw, and Tron wants to rescue her. So he uses his new tool called the Golden Helmet, which improves his sight so he can see him. He follows him back with the help of Silver to his lair where he puts his victims, and it's actually shown here that there's lots of things here that Silver and Tom just bond more in this, and they learn to bond well together. So they help each other out with senses and directions, and they're pretty tactical. Eventually they find that Eleanor's near the lair, but at a time, I believe, was it there? No. Yeah. They find Eleanor, and at some point in the book, I forgot it was either, I think that's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. Tom gets into the trees and he falls down from Claw, but then he has the shield with Arctur's ability to stop him from falling, and he uses that. So I like the fact that the shield abilities come into play more. So they find Eleanor, and they do some more tactical stuff here, which you can never have enough of. They come up with the idea of being quiet, because Claw's asleep, which makes him pretty dumb. So, unless he's pretty fast, and but he's asleep, and then Eleanor and Tom are communicating like sign language and all that, and they understand one another. So he gives Eleanor her arrows and bow so that she can take arrow out of her quiver, put it into the surface, and climb out Monkey Bar that way. Then Tom cuts a vine and pulls Eleanor out, but then the tree there's a dying tree and it crashes, which wakes up Claw the monkey. Claw attacks, and then and Tom gets like battered up in a way, because he gives his shield to Eleanor for extra protection while he faces Claw, but he forgets this at one point, and without the shield he falls and he's nearly out exhausted because he's got no protection. But then he decides to call another beast to help him out, like he did with Zepha. This time he calls Ferno the fire dragon, and that's where we get something awesome. Ferno goes in and burns all the trees, so that their plan is that they know that Claw is a monkey and his advantages are in the trees, so they decide to keep him grounded. So with Ferno's help, they put all the trees on fire in the dark jungle, till eventually he's cornered, and then they finish him off like that, and that's how they get rid of Claw. Now the only thing that happens here is either Claw dies, because he gets burnt by Ferno, and he either turns into a bunch of monkeys, or he just dies, because there's no fucking body, and he evaporates. I'm going to go with the first theory, because how else would he wear the chainmail if he wasn't a bunch of pure innocent monkeys? That's the best explanation I can give, because in honesty they don't explain purely in a way what happens to Claw. It's a way that you can put your own expectations on. But other than that, I still prefer this book over to Zepha, because it takes what was in the first one, but adds more extra stuff into it. So I'm really liking this one more than the first one. So Claw, you beat Zepha. Nice one on you. And of course at the end we see that Malvel is doing the Wizard of Oz thing and saying, "Oh, my next one, Sultra will beat you." So, speaking of Sultra, we'll be on to that book next. But this has been my review of Claw the Giant Monkey, so see you next time when we do Sultra. Hi guys, welcome back to Beast Quest Series 2. Sultra, the Stone Charmer. Gotta be the best one of Series 2 so far. Even better than Claw. You just said Claw was better than Zepha, but what do you know, they keep getting better and better. So with Sultra, it starts off with Tom and Eleanor beating Claw, and they leave the dark jungle. Mind you, I've got to keep my notes with me here because there's a lot to say about this book. Let's go to the top. Yeah. So, after they leave the dark jungle, Tom makes it clear that he misses his family and Aranel, and he tells stories about the river. Sorry. Eventually, the next piece of armor is revealed, and it turns out that it's in Aranel. It's a breastplate. I think it's like a little thong piece, if I remember right. If there's any noise in the background, that's just lawnmowers and stuff. But, so, it's a thong piece. The breastplate is, I think. Mind you, it's hard to say because you don't see much images of it. But, what else? Which is... oh yeah. Alright, here we go. So, as they head towards the village, I think, yeah. Let me check my notes. Oh yeah. Now this is different right here. Instead of the other beasts, where it's all, where they either would bring it straight forward or show, like, the destruction it's made. Here, though, it's different. Sultra doesn't have great power and strength, but she does, really, you'll see. She's a stone charmer, so all you see is, like, all these stone-encased beings and stuff. And if, from the look of it, that if you don't get to one in time, they fade out of existence, or as in die, like a simple ox or a bird. So, it's interesting. She's more built up in this eerie, creepy way. It's kind of similar how Medusa was done, which is probably how she was based off. And yes, Sultra is a she, just to realise that. Tom uses both his helmet and the chainmails, and since he does do that, he uses both the chainmail and the helmet when he finds a farmer and he tries to break him free. I'm guessing the chainmail made him a bit... it's meant to make him more confident, but I guess it also makes him take more risks. So if I didn't do that right, he could have killed him. So that chainmail is a good or a bad thing, depending how you look at it. But of course he did save him, so there's that too. So the farmer tells him that the beast Sultra did this, and that she's doing all this bad stuff, so he takes him back to the village of Arachnid. Mind you, Tom could probably find his way there by himself, which, I don't know. What else? Yeah, here we go, read that. Yeah, I read that. Tom, I don't know. Now, here's a plot hole. In the last book, when they faced Chloe, right? Tom and Eleanor already knew Sultra's name, but in this book they're like, oh, we don't know the creature's name or anything. So, like in Claw, they say, because Malavel says that you will face my next beast, Sultra, but this time in this book it says they don't. It's like they forgot that. What the hell? Anyway, they go back to the village and they find that the people have missed him. Big surprise. And Tom eventually tells the people his quest in secret so that they won't tell anyone else. Pretty sure that's the case. Also, it's revealed that Sultra's weakness is sunlight because she keeps hiding in the fog. Sorry about that. So that's another thing. And I believe she might have this thing where she can lure men in and turn them to stone. I'm guessing it doesn't work on women because she's straight, or she's a woman, maybe. Mind you, that's how I see it. But Tom protects his people. Tom protects his people by delivering a badass one-line here. While there's blood in my veins, I have the power to conquer her. That is actually one of his best lines. It's eventually revealed that Tom and the villagers go to the lake, to the river that Tom was talking about earlier in his stories, because it's been told there's myths that they might have healing powers, and he puts them on the other side of it. Says even if they don't have healing powers, it will still keep them safe. Of course, it's also revealed that Tom's birthday is today. And in Tom's birthday, he says that he wouldn't have time to stay for the party, but he does get a gift from Uncle Henry, and it turns out it's an item that belonged to his father, a compass that tells him where his destiny is and where's danger. So that's another useful thing that Alor was giving him, and now it helped him feel more closer to his father, so that's nice. Oh yeah. Tom goes back to the fog and he tells Eleanor to stay out of this, don't help me. Eleanor says, no, I want to help, this is how it's going to be. So she goes with him and the friends do, but then later he tells them, no, don't go again. So what was the whole point of that big thing? Well, there was a point, but you'll go to get to that. Tom eventually faces the fog area, but this Sultra's charm voice goes to him and tricks him into, well, you know, falling into some quicksand mud thing, and he nearly drowns to death, and Eleanor comes to the rescue. So I'm guessing Sultra is a telepathic beast in a way with her powers. What else? Yep. After being rescued by Eleanor, Tom realizes he needs more sunlight because that's her weakness. So he decides to call Arctur and free away the clouds, puff away the clouds with his arm smack, and then they go that way. That's why there's fog always around her, which I might have said before, so whatever. Actually, this is funny, actually, because Tom gets put back to the trance charm thing, while then Malavel laughs because he feels like he's winning, and then that laugh goofs him up because Tom breaks free from it because he hears Malavel and he hates Malavel, so that's like your own fire paint there, and then that helps him fight back. So eventually, Tom falls to his ground. It looks like he's going to lose, and because I'm actually surprised that Sultra's a pretty decent fighter, but eventually he falls down and he deflects his sword and aims it, and the sunlight blinds right into the eye because that's where the strong point is. Eventually he does it twice, and then and it's revealed that her body's a skeleton with just an eye, and then when the cloth behind it, that's where the piece is hidden, the breastplate. So she fades away to dust, and he takes it, and that's another piece collected. And they reveal the next beast, which is odd. I don't know why that is, unless they're planning something for the next book. And another nice touch was that both beasts, Arctur and Sultra, had one eye. Nice touch. That was the last, and the nice touch was the last word of this book is destiny, which is the word that was on the compass that his father gave him. So overall, sorry for that lawnmower in the background, jeez. But overall, I think Sultra the Stone Charmer is probably the best book so far in Series 2, and I'm very looking forward to what's going to happen in the 4th book with Vipero. So look forward to Vipero in book number 4. See you then, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest Series 2. This time we're on book 4, Vipero. Now last time we left off, I said that his name was Vipero, but it's wrong, it's actually Vipero. And I also did the same with Epos, it's Epos, because she's actually a girl, so it makes more sense that way. In all honesty, you can pronounce the name however you prefer. And if you're wondering why I'm being so quiet right now, it's a bit late for me, so I've got to keep it down. But I'm going to go to the story. After Tom and Eleanor defeated Sultra in Nerenel, they left the village, got some herbs from Aunt Maria, and they go into the desert. Of course, they're looking for water to find the next beast. They looked at the map and they figured out that they're going after some leg armor this time for the golden armor set. They go and find this woman who has a sick child in a village, but there's no water, and they do have some water on them, but they're trying to keep it because it's hard to find water around here. And now the woman's son is sick, and in exchange for aid from Tom and Eleanor, they'll get water. Turns out Eleanor knows about medicine and herbs, so she knows how to crush them and grind them and all that. So they take Aunt Maria's medicine and give it to the boy to bring him to life, heal him up, and in exchange they get water. They go into the desert and face the wraths of the elements, and then Malval shows up with a twister, similar to how the mummy worked. And he tells them that he has, if you doubt yourself on this heat, then if you doubt yourself like this, I'm gonna lower the wizard Adaro into a pit of tar. So he constantly through the book he has to keep reminding himself this, otherwise his friend will die, possibly worse. What else? Checking my notes. Now Manavels does summon a twister, but what I don't understand is he summons a twister, and instead of using it to crush them, he doesn't send it after him, he just lets it fade away. And unless then he drops it probably on top of them, and Silver gets buried. They rescue him, take the animal friends, put them under a rock, and then they find a trail that leads them to Vipero. No, they figure out, oh, where's Vipero? Then I'm wondering, how do they know Vipero's name? I don't recall Malvel telling them his name at all in the last book, so that's a plot hole, but it's nothing major. This probably happened last time, I think, as well. So they try and sneak up on Vipero, but their water gets leaked and they lose all their water. Eleanor screams about this, which alerts Vipero, and then they scuffle around in a fight. What else? I like the fact that they're being quiet and stealthy at the time. But anyway, they come across a river, and Tom looks up to see Vipero in his tracks. Tom comes up with a plan. Says, you go over there and I'll distract him probably. So one of Tom's plans backfires, of course, though, when Eleanor gets bitten by the snake and she's taken out. I like the fact that at the time Tom's chainmail can't even protect her from Vipero's heat, which is that's interesting to figure out. With Eleanor out, Tom gets his strength back when Storm and Silver come, and Storm and Silver actually fight back a beast, which is incredible to see Storm actually do something. I've seen Silver do it a few times, but now Storm as well. This gives Tom the upward confidence, and and they with the animals here, they are able to help Tom cut off the heads. After that, the heads are the body. Vipero isn't finished. His heads can go off independently, and they try to attack Tom. I'm guessing the animal friends have been sidelined, so Tom calls Epos the flame bird, and this giant phoenix has to beat these tiny little heads, but they're very nimble and small. Tom comes up with a bit of a plan to take a cacti and squish them together. Then he plummets his sword, Epos puts her talon in, and then she burns Vipero, and he turns into a bunch of green snakes, and another beast is free. Similar to how Claw was burnt by Inferno, and he turns out to be a bunch of innocent monkeys. It's the same thing with Vipero here with the snakes, where he turns into snakes, because how else would he wear the golden leg armor if... Claw, how would he wear the chainmail unless he was an innocent animal? So that's the answer for that. At the end of the book, with the help of Epos the flame bird and some medicine from Aunt Maria they had left, they used it to revive Eleanor, Malvolsha, and they have a ride from Epos the phoenix, or the flame bird, and they're not burnt, so I'm guessing if you can ride him, that's a nice thing to ride her. And finally, wrapping it up, Malavel warns them that you will never want to see a spider again in the next Beast Quest. So that's something to look forward to. And this is, we'll be ready for it. Oh yeah, Eleanor says Malavel's a coward for not finding his own battles. Yeah, and that leads up to the next Beast Quest then, with Arachnid, the King of Spiders, I think it is. So look forward to Arachnid on our next Beast Quest. Just to wrap up here, my thoughts on Vipero It wasn't as good as Sultra. It was better than Zepha. It was very similar to Claw the Monkey with how the armor worked. Now, other than that, I would say it's worth a good read. And keeping up, I'm gonna look forward to reading Arachnid, the King of Spiders, just so you know. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Beast Quest Series 2. We're now on Book 5 and I've just finished it. Let's kick things off. I wanna say Arachnid starts off with, of course, where else? Tom and Eleanor have just beaten the last beast, Vipero, and now they're moving on to the next one, which is Arachnid, the King of Spiders, who they don't know his name yet, but they know is based on a spider. So they head towards. Let me show my notes to make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, here's some stuff. So Tom and Eleanor are making their way to a town, and there's some stuff that gets in their way. Eleanor and Tom have a good chat about resting before heading off, because that's the thing. Tom wants to go and get this over with because he's so close to getting this quest done. There's only 2 beasts left by now. But Eleanor wants to rest because she's been through all this, all these. There's the other 10 beasts and all that. So, and just fought Vipero. So, Tom does eventually decide to put Eleanor first, which happens even later on. Yeah, Tom feels confident enough that he can take on 20 beasts, but that's more stuff based on the same thing. Oh, they go to an apple orchard on their travels, and eventually they come across a tree. One of the trees in the apple orchard has a T on it, which Tom assumes might be a reference to his father, Taladon the Swift. So maybe he's something around here. Who knows? There are these guys who show up. Well, not these guys, but they go up to these people, and that's where it turns out they're all celebrating. And there are these guys who are trade stealers, and they're saying, so we're celebrating King Hugo's birthday. So it so happens that when they go to this town, it's King Hugo's birthday when they reach there. You can hear motorcycles in the background probably, but so they get there and they are looking for what is it? They're looking for beds, mattresses. They want a good night's sleep. So this woman called Dorina shows up. Dorina, whatever, and she offers them a good bed. And then she later figures out that they're going to. She knows about the spider, and she figures out that she knows. She figures out what they know about, that they are involved, and they're going after the spider. So she gives them directions to where she thinks the spider is, in the mountains, but it's moved closer because there's a festival and it's trying to take people, and it also took away her friend Etta. So Tom is also going to rescue her. Okay, we'll come to this big scene with a mountain, where Eleanor is scared of climbing a mountain, and Tom says, we fought 10 beasts, I think you can manage the mountain. And he's the one who ends up slipping, not her. And of course he uses the shield to save his fall, and he climbs back up, so there's that. With that said, they go up the mountain, and eventually they find their way to Arachnid's lair. But their pathway got crumbled, so the only way out, they have to find a way out here. They go down to Arachnid's lair. Arachnid jumps them, and they prepare for the fight. Arachnid's pretty smart here, as he's guarding the web instead of going straight for Tom. So he's actually smart. Eventually, this is interesting. Midway through the fight, Tom actually gets the gauntlets while he's fighting Arachnid, which changes the course of the battle and allows Tom to get the upper hand. And then he gets this idea of using the crystal
that so he can there's this large sharp crystal on the top of the ceiling, like those things like icicles do, and he's gonna jam it and crush it down on the spider. Eventually he's having trouble doing that, so he decides to call help from Nanook. I think somehow. Yeah, that's it. Nanook comes in and blinds the spider. Boom. So that, but even though the spider's blinded, it's still fighting. It's not like one of its eyes are blinded and it's still fighting. All 6 eyes are blinded and it's still fighting. And it's still going on with it. But then, Tom is able, since Arachnid is distracted, Tom is able to get his second wind free, while Eleanor frees Etta. No, Tom frees Etta, gives her to Eleanor, and Eleanor just frees Silver the Wolf from the webs, and then he tells them to all leave while he helps Nanook fight the beast. Tom goes to the giant to help finish his plan with the giant spear crystal, crushes it down on Arachnid, and as Arachnid gets squished in the sack, literally, he tries to get the crystal out, but it gets worse, it gets more pushed in as he tries to struggle, and eventually he dies. I think he dies of mortal wounds. Yeah, I'm going to say that he dies of mortal wounds, because it gets jammed in deeper and deeper until he finally collapses, and then it's a fatal blow. And he fades away into a bunch of tiny little spiders, and Arachnid is defeated. I almost said Malvel there. Well, he will get to you, Malvel. But Arachnid is defeated, and but there's the mountain, of course, the caves collapse in, I'm guessing because of Arachnid thumping around the place. So they try and rescue Nanook, and with Wizard Adro shows up. He briefly broke free from Malvel's capture, and uses his magic to help free him from the rubble. But he does succeed in getting him out of there, but Malvel shows up, takes the wizard away, and we get no information on the next beast. But there is some progress there as Tom has freed Etta and all his friends, so that's Arachnid dealt with, and just one more beast to go. So what do I think of Arachnid? I'm gonna say Arachnid is better than Zepha. I would say it's better than Claw, and of course it continues on with Claw and the other one, I think it's Vipero, with the whole fact that most of this is like the third monster that I know that turns into a bunch of little things, so it's still coping with it. I also like the fact that this beast didn't wear the armor this time, it was like guarding it, which is a better improvement, because I don't understand how. I know I said this thing, if it's a little thing, it could wear the armor, but I'm glad it didn't for the sake of plots, and besides, he's in spiderwebs, he doesn't really need to hold it. Anyway, I'm gonna say it's better than, it's better than Zepha, it's better than Claw, it's on par with Sultra, because Vipero was a bit blantish, probably even more blanter than Claw. I would say Vipero is on the level of Zepha, but if that's the case, then this one, Arachnid, is on the same level as Sultra's good intentions. So I would put Sultra and Arachnid together in the tiebreaker right there. So we've only got one book left, and we'll see if let's see, get his name right. Trillion, that's what I'm going to say. Trillion can be any bigger of a threat. Until next time, guys. See ya. Alright, guys, it's finally over. Beast Quest Series 2. Here we have Book 6, Trillion. That's how I'm going to pronounce the name, because last time I think I called it Trillion, whatever. This happens a lot. Most books I did this with Vipero and Vipero and probably another one. But I'm going to call him Trillion for the sake of things. You can call it whatever you like, but that's just me. But Series 2 is finally over. I just finished reading Trillion. What else? I need to get into things. Oh yeah, the story of Trillion starts off with, and it's even in the prologue that you see Taggers and he's fighting Trillion at the very beginning, so it's already gotten underway. And the fact that we see Ella and Tom at the end of the prologue. So they're in this is the first time we ever get them in a prologue, which is a nice touch. After Trelane fights with Tagus, Tagus is wounded for like the first 1 or 2 chapters. So they try to tend to his wounds with Tom's shield. Just showing something. Yeah, Tagus was going to die unless Elena shot her arrows. And it's said that this is Malvar's most deadliest beast of all. Well, I guess that's proof enough, since he was able to wound and weaken a beast and nearly killed him. Because Tagus was going to die. Yeah, there was a fear that at the beginning of the book you think that Tagus may not be able to help him on the beast battle because he's wounded. Yeah, and Tom does try to use his shield's healing token, but it does heal the first few wounds, but then it stops because he thinks it needs to recharge, because that's how it might work. So that's an interesting thing we learn about the tokens in this, which is a nice touch. No. So they try and heal up Tagus, but they go up to the while Tom and Eleanor go up to this hill crop mountainside thing, while the animal friends are protecting Tagus while he's injured. A bunch of hyenas show up, and loads of them show up, so Tom and Eleanor head back down and go and help them. And there's this awesome fight where every one of the 4 friends is protecting a beast, which is kind of very nice, because the beasts were protecting. There was a point in the stories where the beasts were against them. There was a point in the stories when the beasts were helping them when they needed help, and now all 4 friends are actually doing reversal here, where they're protecting him, which I like. What else? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, after the hyena battle, Silver the wolf goes and smells the lion's scent and leads them to his location. He's near a lake, and Tom assumes that this must be the location of the last piece, the golden boots. So that's the last piece that we need. Tom comes up with a plan with Storm to distract the beast while he has to figure out his weakness. They watch for a bit and see that Treline's trying to. A bird shows up. Treline gets his paw out and tries to whack the bird, but he nearly gets his paw in the water, and he doesn't like that. Eleanor says that most lions don't like water either, because of their manes, that they pull them down, and since Treline has 3 heads, his own thing is a weakness to himself, kind of thing. Since he has so many heads, it's too much weight and it'll make him sink down. So now they figured out a way to beat Treline. In order for this to work, they need some bait, so they set Storm, which Tom doesn't want to do, but of course they have to in order to complete the quest. So Tom sets up a plan with Storm, but then it goes horribly wrong when Treline surprises them, and then they get separated. Tom eventually falls off. Scuffle between Storm. Yeah, but it is a scuffle between Storm, Treline chasing after while Elena's shooting arrows. Tom falls into the lake, of course, because he falls off the horse. And then since he's in the water, and he's wearing armor, the armor pulls him down. He uses his token he got from Sepron to save himself, because the token from Sepron is meant to protect him from water, so that was lucky. Treline chases after Storm, and I think Tom was riding on Storm at the time. Yeah, I think he gets back onto Storm and he's riding him, but then he bites his ankle, and then he falls off the horse, and then you think Storm gets out of there. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So, like when I said that Tom had his ankle bit, it looks like it's going to be the end for Tom because he's wounded. But then Tagus shows up, and all of the this gives Eleanor the chance to leave with Storm to get him out of there for safety. And they want to help Tom, but Tom says no, go, stay there. Eventually, though, Tom finds the golden boots and instructs Eleanor to get them, despite the fact that Tom's needed in pain and help. But he still fights on, trying to help fight help fight with Tagus to beat Trelion. So it's nice to say that Tagus has recovered from his wounds, of course. And of course, eventually, Eleanor gets the last piece of golden armor, which are the golden boots, to Tom to complete the golden armor set. Tom's about to use the full power of the armor to finally end Trelion, while all his friends are trying to fight him off. But Malville shows up with a dark energy shield because he's not letting you complete this quest. Tom uses the power of the golden boots to kick and break the shield, and he goes, but Malville keeps trying to stop him with another spell and drops his weapons from him. Then Tom keeps going, says I don't need those weapons, and then he tackles the lion, and with enough strength he pushes pushes Trelion into the ocean or the water, and then he starts melting or drowning into the lake, and then because of his three heads, and then he melts or fades away. Now Tom wonders why he didn't turn into a bunch of little animals, but it's revealed that he didn't turn into a bunch of animals because he's meant to reveal a gateway. The whole line is actually a gateway, which leads to another area, another passageway to somewhere. Tom and Eleanor are hesitant to go in, but it might lead to Adaro, and Tom gets his compass out, which he got from a storybook a while back. I think it was Sultra, which is given to him by his father. The compass points to destiny. Tom and friends go through the portal, setting up for Series 3. Overall, I think Trelion is the best book of Series 2. It is a great amount of action. There's tension between Tom, Tagus, and Storm, as well as other characters. Tom risks his life to defend his friends, the beasts. He finally gets the golden armor. There's tension with Malville trying to stop him. And finally, there's some explanation between things. Why Trelion was the last one, because he holds a key to another series. So, this is the end of Series 2. I loved it, I enjoyed reading it, and I just got Series 3 from the post yesterday, so I'm looking forward to read that. So, till next time guys, Series 3. Also, I just want to point out that there is a small plot hole. In the third book, Sultra dies and turns to dust, as most people might know if you read the book. But in here they ask that all the beasts that Tom has faced, they all turn into animals, or whatever. That's a plot hole because Sultra didn't turn into a bunch of mini things or anything, mostly because she wasn't based off an animal. While the others were probably, I think they were all based off an animal. Squid, monkey, snake, spider, lion. But even though a lion didn't, we're not counting Trelion because he was actually meant to be a gateway. So that's a kind of a plot hole, but of Tom saying that all the beasts did that, but it's not really a major one. So I could let that slide. So anyway, that's just the plot hole. It's still a great book. I still think it's my best out of the Series 2. But look forward to Series 3, guys. Hope you enjoyed the review. See you next time on Series 3.